Good morning, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. Here on to the last edition of the brief for the week on my Media Prime Television, a program where we always get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as captured by newspapers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on grounds that ICT University in Yaoundé is breaking. We are talking about a visually impaired student that has defended his master's degree thesis in that university in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. We shall equally talk about the case, the killing of Martinez Zogo, as so many people are still asking for justice for Martinez Zogo. This time around, we are talking about an international rights group that is urging the government of the Republic of Cameroon to find out and punish the perpetrators of the said act. Meanwhile, we shall also take you to the northwest region of Cameroon to talk about an assistance that has been given to displaced persons of the farmer-grazier conflict in Esu in Menchun division of the northwest region of Cameroon. Gwladys Bomotonguina is joining me as usual. Let's have the headlines in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous, fidèles téléspectateurs de My Media Prime Télévision. C'est un plaisir de vous retrouver pour cette dernière édition de la semaine pour deux briefs. Alors ce matin, nous débutons avec Émergence Quotidien qui nous plonge dans le cœur de l'affaire Martinez Zogo. Le grand titre ce matin d'Émergence Quotidien, c'est à quoi renvoie le complément d'enquête. C'est la question que nous pose ce matin Émergence Quotidien. En effet, une vingtaine de personnes d'abord présentées au commissaire du gouvernement ont été renvoyées au CED pour un complément d'information. Les détails sont en page 3 d'Émergence Quotidien ce matin. Page 5, le journal nous parle de contrat de travail au Cameroun. Les étrangers sont abandonnés aux fraudes sur les visas. C'est l'information que nous paraît ce matin l'Émergence Quotidien. Page 8, le journal parle de titres publics. Le Cameroun courtise des investisseurs pour 450 milliards de francs CFA. Toujours dans le même journal et à sa page 5, le journal nous parle de transport routier. Officialisation des nouveaux tarifs. L'intégralité, c'est dans cette édition d'Émergence Quotidien. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons avec le journal Le Jour. Le journal Le Jour nous parle en grand titre de transport au Cameroun. Comment la hausse des tarifs est donc accueillie par la population. Si les nouveaux tarifs de ramassage font la joie des chauffeurs de taxi, les usagers, eux, ne cachent pas leur mécontentement. Les détails sont en page 2 jusqu'à 3 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 5, le journal parle de comment comprendre le tribunal militaire au Cameroun. En effet, maître Jonas, colonel à la retraite, ancien magistrat, vient donc de publier un livre sur cette juridiction. Toujours dans le même journal, le journal nous parle du patrimoine camerounais pour parler ici de querelles de coquilles. Les détails sont en page 6 du journal Le Jour ce matin. Nous continuons avec Mutation Quotidien. Mutation Quotidien nous amène au cœur des querelles entre les Bamoun et les Tika. Objectif de paix. Une réunion de concertation s'est donc tenue hier à Bafoussam. Le sultan roi des Bamoun calme dans le jeu. Les détails sont en page 7 de Mutation Quotidien ce matin. En page 11, le journal nous parle de sport au Cameroun. La fédération de Namboudo, dans la fédération de Namboudo, paraît-il, il y aurait des accusations de corruption. Nous clôturons avec l'info à chaud. L'info à chaud ce matin, nous parlons grand titre de l'affaire Martinez Zogo. Ce vendredi au CED, le jour le plus long. C'est le grand titre ce matin, paru par l'info à chaud. En effet, après le renvoi des co-accusés pour complément d'enquête, les regards restent donc braqués sur le tribunal militaire où le sort de Zomlois sera scellé ou pas du tout ce dernier jour ouvrable de la semaine. Les détails sont en page 2 de l'info à chaud ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres. Ce matin, en langue française, place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise. Et c'est avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys. Thank you to televiewers on my Media Prime for staying with us this morning. Let's kickstart with municipal updates, news paper, municipal updates this morning. is interested in this story about ICT University in Cameroon. ICT University in Cameroon breaking grounds as an inclusive or visually impaired student has defended his master thesis. As the paper tells us, promoting inclusive education, ICT University breaks new grounds. Visually impaired student Coco Betin defends master's thesis, setting stage for another chapter for inclusive learning in Cameroon. Get full details in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper, talking about the visually impaired student Coco Betin, who has defended his master's thesis, setting a pace for another chapter for inclusive learning in Cameroon. We continue this time around in the southwest region of Cameroon to talk about the outing of the governor of the southwest region of Cameroon. His timely advice to boost the regional assemblies strides when it comes to development. And after farmer grazier conflict in Menchung division of the northwest region of Cameroon, Good Brothers Association assists displaced population in Esu in that part of the country. Get full details on the assistance on page 7 of this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. Still in the northwest region, precisely in Donga Mountain division of that region, Kambe Council ranked best in inclusive development. Get full details on page 3 of this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. We are now with The Voice. The Voice Weekender this morning is interested in the killing of Martine Zogo. International Press Institute clamors for profound prosecution of perpetrators of the said act, and the International Press Institute IPI, the global network for independent journalism, while welcoming apparent preliminary progress in the police investigation into the month's murder of Martine Zogo, who is the Amplitude or was the Amplitude FM journalist and the station manager. Martine Zogo called for profound prosecution. IP is urging Cameroonian authorities to pursue the investigation to its full conclusion and hold all culprits responsible according to the laws in Cameroon. Get full details on what the International Press Institute IPI is saying when it comes to the prosecution of suspected killers of Martine Zogo. And 3 years after massacre in Garbu victims still await justice. US, UK, Belgium want perpetrators punished, as per what we are reading in this newspaper. 2 cases confirmed in Olamze, that's regarding the dreaded Marburg virus. Get full details on the measures being taken by the government of the Republic of Cameroon to limit circulation at the borders of Cameroon with Equatorial Guinea. We stay with the Voice Weekender newspaper to talk about what Akeremona is doing. Akeremona and his institution is doing, ensuring effective implementation of public investment budgets in Cameroon. Now movement embarks on budget tracking. Renowned political and anti-corruption organization Now Movement has disclosed that it will be carrying out a program it refers to as budget tracking to ensure the effective implementation of public investment budgets PIB in the 10 regions of Cameroon. The institution of the program is a result of the recent restructuring of the Now Movement, which has expanded its missions to carrying out the work of educating the youths and, of course, ideological construction, which, according to the movement, are essential to the process of building the new Republic of Cameroon, as the paper puts it. Get full details on the engagement of the Now Movement led by renowned lawyer Barrister Akere Muna. We leave the Voice Weekender. We are ending this morning with the Guardian Post newspaper, which is also focusing on the ICT University that is sets record in promotion of inclusive education. Visually impaired singer Coco Bertin, 2019 beneficiary of ICT University scholarship, successfully defends master's thesis on inclusive education in Cameroon. Get full details on that defense in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And this other headline that has to do with the meeting of Treasury officials in Douala. Treasury Department unveils plans to increase investors in stock exchange market in Cameroon. Officials, according to the paper, officials of the Treasury Department of the Ministry of Finance of Cameroon have announced plans of increasing the number of investors into the financial market in Cameroon. The move was unveiled to scores of economic operators, stakeholders of the Central African Stock Exchange market, students and businessmen, amongst others, in Douala yesterday. Thank you so much, televiewers of My Media Prime, for watching this other edition of the program, the very last for the week. And we are going to proceed with the discussions in the studio, while hoping that Maitre Alex and Dr. Asong joins us from the United Kingdom and South Africa, respectively. We begin with what Le Jour newspaper is telling us this morning about investigations, or what happened at the level of the military tribunal in Yaoundé, where suspects of the assassination or killing of Martinez Zogo, who were presented before an examining magistrate, were all sent back to the State Secretariat for Defense in Yaoundé after several weeks of preliminary questioning and investigation at the level of that institution. Gwladys, what does this mean for those suspects who have been sent back? Are there not enough evidence to start prosecuting them, the military tribunal?
Lasha Kingsley, sans toutefois être avocat, sans toutefois être juriste, en étant simplement une Camerounaise qui a besoin de justice, qui a besoin pour une fois dans l'histoire du Cameroun que la voix des sans-voix se fasse entendre. Je voudrais dire que j'ai malheureusement l'impression que je ne sais pas si c'est la justice camerounaise, si c'est pas la police camerounaise ou c'est la gendarmerie camerounaise, je ne sais pas moi trop quoi. Peut-être manque de professionnalisme dans ce qu'ils sont en train de faire, parce que nous sommes en train de partir à 2 semaines d'enquête.
If you are fast in...
Lasha, good morning, Gwladys. Good morning to the beautiful people of the Cameroon. And I should make it clear on your program before you start that whatever I say on your program is factual. I'm a lawyer. I don't say things that I don't have any fact, and I'm responsible for anything that I say on your program. And if somebody has to dispute that, they should direct that to me. I don't say anything without evidence, without any fact. So once more, pleasure to be on your program, and it's nice to see the doctor from South Africa. And I'm on your platform. I'm ready to contribute to our people in connection to what happens daily on our newspaper.
Dr. Asong, Henry, good morning and thanks for joining also.
Kingsley, good morning, Gwladys, Maitre. Good morning to the people of Cameroon. It's a pleasure being this morning on your platform to share knowledge on the transformation of our country. It's also a pleasure for me to meet Maitre Alex on the platform. Last time there was some network and we couldn't have a pleasant time. I hope this time.
Doctor, before we continue, apparently you have moved from your initial position and the lighting system is not the best. I don't know if you could go back to your initial position when we had you before the start of the program, so we can have a better view. Our televiewers could have a better view of you. Yes, while you are doing that, I begin with Maitre Alex Ndive. Maitre Alex Ndive, suspects appeared before an examining magistrate at the level of the military tribunal, and they were all taken back to the State Secretariat for National Defense. Why is the investigation taking so much time?
Mr. Lasha, what is important, and somebody who is versed, who have practiced law in in a criminal court or whatsoever. I should make this clear. When we come on this program, there is a general way of investigating criminal matter all over the world. We have what we call criminal procedure. Criminal procedure are the that we use in Crown Court and Magistrate Court. And there is an overriding objective in the criminal justice system, which is very important. We have to deal with it justly. The party have to be dealt with it fairly, swiftly, and it has to be cost efficient. And the criminal procedure system have to be well understood by the public. You see, in Cameroon, when I sit on your program, it is not clear, it cannot be just, it cannot be fair, and it is not being done with swiftly. Why? Because as I always say, we wait for the president to give instruction. When you are a police officer or a gendarme or whatever in Cameroon, because we have different forces, they know their job description from day one. When you were employed, whether gendarme as a police officer, something happens, you don't need to wait for the head of state. Because as I say, the criminal procedure, the criminal justice system is there to do something justly, and I should bring this to your attention. Cameroon is a signature of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and it's also enacted in the Constitution of Cameroon. You have to deal with something fairly. What I can see on this in Cameroon is trial by media, not trial by the court of law. The first port of call is investigation by the police. When the police have got sufficient evidence to convict somebody, there is a prospect of success for the case. You take the case now to the court. And what is the court? They are referee, they are judge, they are neutral. But we see it's already in the court. We don't know the police. And again, justice must be done for the public. Every day, the police officer, they should come and make a press conference and tell us how things are proceeding, have press conference with journalists. They don't do that.
But Metro, you're a lawyer. Metro, you're a lawyer. You know that when a case is ongoing in court, it is not possible for that to happen, for the media to be reporting on a case that is ongoing.
What I'm saying, if I got your question clearly, you can update people as the investigation is going on without saying certain important things. As I speak now, 3 weeks ago, a lady disappeared across a river outside United Kingdom. The TV, they are there. They are trying to trace the root of the lady. They want to what? Try to take people's brain, memory, if they remember something happened. So there, in that procedure, you're trying to get evidence so that the case, or you should find the person. In this case, it's a missing person. It's not a criminal investigation. You have to trigger something.
Maître Alex, vous êtes...
Gwladys, 1 second.
Okay.
When I did contentieux administratif, there's something they call descent silolé. You take people to trigger their memory what certain things happen there. Even, I'm sure even contentieux in droit civil, you can do the same thing. So you have to work. It's something that have happened, we have to preserve evidence. I don't see that happening in Cameroon. That's why when I always say, then the one last point I would like to make, this case is very difficult because the government is trying itself. When you see people like Laurent Esso, their government, Echo, all those people who are involved, it is the government. Is it possible to have fair trial when the government is trying itself? That's my point.
Maître Alex Ndiver, vous êtes avocat et aujourd'hui, la question que je voudrais vous poser, c'est est-ce que en tant qu'avocat, quelqu'un qui a étudié la loi ou bien le droit camerounais, est-ce qu'il est possible pour les journalistes de participer à ces différentes assises ou à ces différentes assises dans ce tribunal?
Gwladys, there is a noise. I heard you say in...
Is it possible for journalists to take part, to be in court and follow the case?
Is it impossible for judges to take part?
No, journalists. I'm asking about journalists that you know Cameroon so well.
If I should understand your question, if it's this way, permit me if I don't get it clearly, but I will answer your question this way. To be honest, in Cameroon, roles need to be defined. When you are a police officer, you're a police officer. When you are a judge, you are a judge. In Cameroon, they mix petrol with kerosene, beans and corn chop. They mix everything. We don't know who is who. At the end of the day, nothing can come out from Cameroon without the
Maitre, Gwladys was asking you if it is possible. You've lived in Cameroon, you've studied in Cameroon. If it is possible for journalists to take part in the ongoing case, I mean, in court, to go to court, sit there, and then take first-hand information.
Initially, in a criminal matter, you can go to court initially in a criminal matter. Why? Maybe the alleged suspect, they want to seek bail. They want to seek bail. You can go to court for that matter. There are other things that you might want to extend bail, or you might want to detain the person more, or you go to court on that matter. But when it comes to the initial investigation in criminal law, they say the most important part of a criminal case is at the police station, not in court. Anything that you say mistake, whether it comes to appeal, it boils down to what you said initially at a police station. So we have to understand and define the role of everybody. Unfortunately, with all due respect, the head of state in Cameroon is in everywhere in Cameroon. He's an executive. You bring in professional people like lawyers, police, and allow them to do their job. You are an executive. You are not a person who knows everything. You cannot be head of.
But he's not. He's not the one doing it. He's not the one doing. He ordered. He instructed those people to hasten up with the investigation.
I want our audience to understand us.
Doctor,
if Mr. Biya is a medical doctor to do a job, you employ that medical doctor. From day one, there is a job description. You don't need to come and be instructing them. You are not a medical doctor as a president. If Mr. Biya needs a lawyer or a judge, you appoint them. They are there from day one. They sign a contract of employment. They know their job description. Each time, they don't need to wait for you to give judge what the description. Mr. Biya is not like God. He doesn't know everything. He is a president. A president uses citizen with expert, whether it's engineer, to run the country. You are not the one running the country. So it is very important that we understand these things. People should not try. I come on your program here. I'm scrutinizing the government. I want to put them into account because they are using taxpayers' money. It is not their money. But you see, in Cameroon, we don't distinguish taxpayers' money with Mr. Biya's money. So I'm not here. I talk on this program to head of state of the country. I'm not talking to Mr. Biya as a private man and as a citizen who have a family life. We should learn to distinguish those things. I am criticizing this head of state that the Constitution says you should do this. He's not doing it. That's what I'm talking about when I'm on your program. I distinguish those two people. Because the chef d'etat, there are two personalities. A private man and a person who is the president of a country. And I'm saying the Constitution again says the head of state guarantee the independence of the magistracy. If you are the one guaranteeing the independence of the magistracy, it means it's not independent. These are the things that we need to look into our country. And patriotism to me means when things are not right, laws are not good, we should look into it, change it, reform it, rather than keeping the laws that are bad so that we can stay in power forever and forever and forever.
Okay, Maitre, I'll come back to you. Dr. Asong, you listened to Maitre Alex there talking about the case of Martinez Zogo. I will not want us to go debating again on who is supposed to do what, whether President Paul Biya is right to instruct the police are supposed to do their job. What is your own take on everything that has to do with the suspects being taken back to the State Secretariat for National Defense?
I'm not sure if I got very clearly to some echoes, but I think, like Alex said, once you are recruited as a member of the forces of law and order, there is a job description for you. And if there is a criminal offense that has been committed, you do not need to be instructed. If it happens within your area of jurisdiction, it's your duty from that police station to go out and carry out an investigation, get the culprits, and take it to the court for judgment. I am not more in legal profession. I know Maitre is more defined in that area. So I think one of the biggest problems we have in Cameroon is the executives have control over the judiciary, and so it's very difficult in certain situations where high-profile people are involved in cases for there to be transparency, independence.
Okay,
the executive have what we include all chambers.
Doctor, I don't know what actually happened with your lighting system. It's still not very okay. We can't see you. Neither our televiewers can also see you. We don't know what is happening. I don't know.
Maybe Maitre Alex can relay your question because I hear him clearly.
Ok, docteur, est-ce que vous pensez qu'à l'allure où vont les choses dans cette enquête, on aura la justice au Cameroun? Partie du CED pour le commissariat du Cameroun, le commissariat du Cameroun, maintenant partie du Haut Commissariat du Cameroun pour le CED. Est-ce que vous pensez qu'à ce niveau, si on aura véritablement la justice au Cameroun?
Maitre Alex, if you had them, can you please just give me the question?
They are asking that, yes, the movement of the suspects from the gendarmerie to the military tribunal and back to the State Secretariat for Defense. Do you really think that there will be justice for the victim?
They are asking that the fact that they have taken the case to the...
Yeah, they are moving up and down. Do you think at the end of the day there will be justice? Will there be justice at the end of the day?
I don't think there can be justice at the end of the day. I don't think there can be justice at the end of the day. From my little understanding, moving the case from one place to another, there are possibilities that evidence will be lost on the way. So it already compromises justice at the end of the day. So, I mean, this is a criminal case. It needs to leave from the police station to the court of law. When it has to go to the Secretary of State and has to go through several channels, are those channels law enforcing channels? So I think the case should go from the police station, from the investigating officers, straight to the court, and there will be prosecution. Once it starts going from one office to another, I am of the opinion that justice will be manipulated on the way.
No, but this we are talking about the military tribunal, which has got absolutely nothing to do with the justice ministry. It's on its own.
The military tribunal, is it meant to judge military men or civilians?
Military men were involved in the case, so it is considered that they used the same weapons, to the best of my knowledge, because they had military, very top officials who are military officials who were involved in the killing. So it has to go to the military court.
Can you come again?
We are saying that doctor, you are talking about evidence that there will be no justice, but we are saying it is at the level of the military court, and whether civilians should be tried in military court or not. We are saying that those that are alleged to have committed a crime, some of them are military people, and it is considered that all of them, they use weapons to do whatever stuff that they did to Martinez Zogo. So it should be treated as purely a military issue.
My take on that would be that what does the law say? What the procedure stated down when cases like this are involved? Is that the procedure that has been laid down, or is it a procedure that has brought because of a specific case?
The action procedure.
So to me, I would believe that once there is a procedure of trying such cases, let the procedure laid down by the Constitution or the criminal justice system be followed.
Okay, yeah, Maitre Alex, let me come back to you. Dr. Asong just asked a while ago what is the raison d'etre for trying civilians in a military court. But we know that this case got some military officials who were involved. So, and it has to be treated as such, as per what some experts are saying.
Mr. Lasha, there's an important point taking into consideration your question that I was meant to raise, which is, who is Mr. Laurent, the Secretary of State for Justice? He is the boss. You cannot be the boss. Then you are talking all about Cameroon, in any criminal justice system, Secretary of State Laurent Eso have to be suspended from his duties because he is part of that investigation. There are other people too who are in the Secret Service. They are involved and they are the one investigating themselves. In a layman's term, I want to put it to our audience. If you write an exam, then you are the teacher, you want to mark your exam, are you going to fail yourself? So there is a conflict of interest.
Mais qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire à ce niveau, maître? Pourquoi jusqu'à ce niveau?
The Secretary of State, Gwladys, let me learn. It's very important to understand how a criminal justice system should work. The Secretary of State, Mr. Laurent Eso, has been Secretary of State for Justice since 2011. To me, it's an opinion. Laurent Eso is Paul Biya. Paul Biya is Laurent Eso. They are very close. If you touch Laurent Eso, you touch Paul Biya. And I will tell you, this guy who is it, Mr. Mbongla, you might correct me, who say is Paul Biya's son. He was in prison because of what he said about Laurent Eso and others. So Laurent Eso is very, very close to Mr. Biya. If you touch Laurent Eso, the government of Cameroon will crumble. It's a fact.
It's a fact. So in this case, what do we do? Through the case away.
In this case, Mr. Lasha, in this case, what do we need to do? I'm not going to say on your program. I don't want to put you into trouble.
Thank you, Maitre Alex. Okay, let's talk about this this issue, Maitre Alex. Doctor, I can hear Doctor laughing there. Let's talk about this issue that a tribe in Cameroon is fighting over their meal. Gwladys, you did raise that in the newspaper. Talking about coquille. Some people are arguing over a meal in their community, whether coquille is supposed to be the meal or not. Does it not sound strange, Maitre Alex, that people are fighting over meals? Right?
Is that not the distraction?
A Cameroonian, a senior man in this country, he sent me those things this morning, and I saw it, and I'll tell you my reply what I gave it to him.
Yes.
I told him that, is there a pattern right? Is there a trademark? Have somebody ever registered coquille or as a pattern mark or a trademark? Because when you have something in life, you believe it's yours, you have to register it as a pattern right or trademark. Then number two, I asked him that do we have researchers in Cameroon? Why are they arguing? Some researchers, they can go and investigate, like researchers, the origin of coquille.
Maitre, do you need somebody to go and investigate if watafufu and ero is your meal? You need everybody, when you call watafufu and ero, they know where it originates from. So do you need somebody to go and... I'm asking if you need somebody to go and investigate about your meal, watafufu and ero.
I'm telling you, Mr. Lasha, if I learn, you will understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
A lot of time, there's this misconception. Okay, there is something, Kew Garden, not far away from me. You go there, you will see things that come from Oya Mountain, and flowers, trees, or whatsoever. These people, they put every little thing, they write it down, they put it in the book. It is, if you ask the British people, they will tell you the different type of flies in Oya Mountain. But we, Cameroonians, we don't know. So I'm asking, we need researchers, even in our food. You see, most of us in Africa, in Cameroon, people say this regala is a Northwest cloth. You go to Enugu in Nigeria, it's their traditional way too. We should not forget that most of us, we are Bantus. We have similar culture. Sometimes you might claim this coquille belongs to you. You don't know that maybe coquille, somebody is their traditional dish in Kenya. We are Bantu. In Congo, we have the same similar culture. So we should watch out when we start claiming that we own things. We need researchers. We shouldn't take it for granted that it's coquille. It's a food. It's a dish. People are millionaires in the Western world because of food. Pepper that we have there, they are millionaires.
Maitre, just like you landed yourself in trouble in Nijon Fundi's house sometimes, but when you ate achu with a spoon.
Say it again, a little bit noisy.
I'm talking about you were lambasted some years back when you ate achu with a spoon at Fundi's house in Yaoundé.
Mr. Lasha, ever since I was born in my life, I was taught to eat with a fork or a spoon. So if people who cannot afford spoon and fork, they say achu.
No, how do you say that?
It's your tongue that has to taste read biology. So people are different. Chinese people are eating with chopstick. We are not complaining. When Metra Alek eat achu with fork, they complain. It's up to you. It's an individual. We shouldn't be intolerant.
No, but are you not abusing? Is it not an insult on the meal of?
No, it cannot be an insult. The way I was brought up is my value, my life. We should stop doing one size fits it all.
So if you choose to eat achu, which is not your traditional meal, then you must follow the way that the people.
Mr. Lasha, who says that achu is not my traditional meal? Tradition evolves. You see, if you put on sanja, you keep on putting clothes, you start putting suit. If you look at what tradition means, it's what people are doing at the time. When we were growing up, maybe Enow was not that popular on bongo chobi or this. Now, things like achu, kwakoko, egusi soup, they are traditional meal for Cameroonians, no longer for a particular tribe. Tradition evolves.
So the people should not be fighting. Those who are fighting should stop fighting.
Say it again.
Those who are fighting should stop fighting.
My point is, it is irrelevant. If they want to know the origin of achu, what they the koki, they should look for researchers. We should have books that we talk about the different dialects in Cameroon.
C'est quoi l'intérêt dans cette discussion de coquille là? C'est quoi l'intérêt en fait?
Mr. Kingsley, if I might just say something here,
the doctor,
to add on what Maitre is actually talking. You say in Cameroon, we lack indigenous researchers. It is time as Cameroonians we dive into indigenous research to be able to establish what belongs to our culture and what belongs to ours as a people. And so because we lack indigenous researchers or research in indigenous knowledge systems, a lot of our cultures are being taken to other places. And as Maitre said, there's an evolution. So if you have something and you don't have the basis, the foundation of it, someone else can take it somewhere and establish a foundation which you yourself might not be able to revoke it because you do not have research information that you have laid down. So I want to support what Maitre said that we
when you talk about researchers, and we know that when we talk history, there are different forms of history, written history, other forms of history where you are told archaeological history. Your parents tells you things about what used to happen many years back. And you hand it to your children. We're only talking about indigenous researcher, but when we know that sometimes this history.
That's where research comes in. When your parents they tell you things, that is research. Then you take it, you document it.
Exactly.
Est-ce qu'au Cameroun, en ce moment, on a besoin de ce genre de débat, Maître Alex?
We can do it because the problem is that in Cameroon, we have just accepted our fate. Somebody will come in Cameroon and translate Mungaka for you, a Munzungu, a white person. We don't bother about, I know there was something in Boya called Linguistic Center when I was growing up. I presume it's still there, about linguistics. You see, we don't know that we can do our own research in our own stuff in life. We allow people to come and tell us our own thing. Even you will see Reporters Without Borders say evidence, this is this. I want to hear that Gwladys, Mr. Lasha have done a research and said this is Cameroonian.
Maître Alex, vous pensez que qui donne les informations à Reporters, ce sont toujours les journalistes du Cameroun?
Say it again.
You think that the people are giving the information to Reporters Without Borders? Are they not still Cameroonian journalists who cannot openly give those information you are talking about?
I did not get it clearly, but if I should answer your question this way, I always ask myself, the position we as African, what we should be saying today, why is it that these people, they can manufacture AIDS medicine, malaria medicine, we cannot do it? Why is it that these people can produce car and aeroplane, we cannot do it? Why is it that 167 years ago, the first underground train was in UK when there was no technology? We cannot do it. This is the time that we have to start asking question. After 1 or 2 years, we have to say, what is Muzungu? I don't like to call them white men because they are not white. They are Muzungu. Yeah, what is Muzungu they are doing? We can do it too. If 4,500 years ago, we constructed a pyramid in Africa, so what is wrong with us today? We have to start looking at things in that direction. Why is it that in CDC, we have to produce banana coffee every Why can we not turn those coffee or chocolate or those things into finished product? Is it difficult to study? Doctor, you ask Dr. Asong there, how long it takes to do PhD? To learn how to make chocolate paste, it will not take you 1 year. So why don't we do those things? We have put ourselves in a cave and we don't want to think outside the box.
Is a means there. Is exposure, resources means.
What Maitre has just said is perfect. I just want to quote from what he said. If you go to the Kew Botanic Gardens in the UK, and then the assistants are able to tell you what you have in Mount Cameroon. But there we have a university there in Boya, where the Department of Botany is supposed to be the custodian of the botany of the Southwest Province. They're supposed to be the repository for everything on Mount Cameroon. But I can assure you, you might go there and you might not even find it. So it is time we realize as Africans, we have the potentials. We should stop being consumers. We have to work with one another. I understand somewhere there are a lot of administrative bottlenecks and financing that is handicapping research in Africa. But it is time we decide in Africa. I grew up from Ikofi. I feel bad when I go to the shop here and I buy cocoa in the form of a tin to take tea. Whereas in Cameroon, we have the cocoa. What is more than our government sponsoring research for us to be able to transform cocoa beans into chocolate, Ovaltine, and all the rest. That will create employment also. We open up our country.
Are we ready for that? Are we ready? Are you sure we are ready? Are we ready? Are you also ready, Dr. Asong, to transform those things?
I'm very ready if there's an enabling environment to be able to carry out my own, to bring my knowledge back home.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Though the lines were not the best today, but we could not do otherwise than to keep you guys for the discussion. Thank you, Maitre Alex. Thank you, Dr. Asong, for joining us.
You're welcome.
They are from the United Kingdom and South Africa. Hoping that you guys will be back on Monday for more on what the newspapers must have said in Cameroon. The program was produced for us by Frank, Ayuk, Enow. We were Gwladys Bomotonguina, myself, Lasha Kingsley, wishing you a great weekend. Bye-bye from this end.